Lights, camera, nightmare. From lip-sync scandals to disastrous dances to whatever it was Kanye West did on SNL at one time. These are television's worst ever musical performances. In 2018, Kanye West performed I Love It with Lil Pump on Saturday Night Live. For some reason, both West and Lil Pump were dressed up as water bottles for their set, while Adele Givens sang on a large screen behind them. You might argue that this was all a misguided attempt at putting on an SNL sketch, but the fact is that West and Lil Pump's performance was so utterly bizarre that no one even knew what to think about it. West performed on stage 2 more times that evening, and neither appearance further endeared him to the audience, who had clearly had their fill of tomfoolery for the night.
Uh-oh, Kanye got that look.
Oh no, what are you up to, Kanye?
Oh, he's definitely gonna do something.
Time hasn't inspired many reappraisals of this episode either, although some fans at least seem to have found some joy in it. Commenting on a YouTube video of the I Love It performance, one user writes, "This is simultaneously the worst and most enjoyable hip-hop performance I have ever seen." Katy Perry's smash hit Firework is a polished pop song that features several crescendos and pitch changes. And while it might sound great on the radio, a song like that can easily fall apart live, as the singer needs to hit all those highs without breaking a sweat. And that's exactly what Katy Perry herself failed to do when she appeared on The X Factor in 2010. There were a number of moments during the performance in which Perry sang in an off-key or screechy manner, as she desperately tried to evoke the same emotion as the studio version of the song. Viewers noticed this, of course, and many took to forums or social media to air their grievances. While some praised Perry for not relying on backing tracks or auto-tune like other singers might have, others pointed out that, well, maybe she should have. Corey Feldman made a name for himself as one half of the two Coreys, alongside Corey Haim. The duo dominated the film industry in the 80s and early 90s. Aside from acting, Feldman is also a musician, and he often takes inspiration from Michael Jackson's style and dancing for his live shows. In 2016, Feldman, along with his backing band Corey's Angels, performed on The Today Show. Feldman caught a whole lot of flack from viewers and critics for the way he was dressed, his dance moves, his over-the-top dramatic mannerisms, and his baffling decision to twerk on stage. The video of the performance quickly went viral, as what seemed like the whole internet tried to figure out what it had just seen. For Feldman, though, that backlash really hurt. In a since-deleted Facebook video, he described the internet's response to the performance as public shaming and admitted that he hadn't wanted to leave his house afterwards. We deserve love and we deserve, normal life. It's not okay. It's not acceptable to call us freaks, weirdos, losers, whatever.
A lot of people get hate in the beginning because we're doing something new. It hasn't been done before.
To perform the anthem at a sporting event is considered a prestigious honor for any American singer. Yet Black Eyed Peas singer Fergie delivered one of the most shambolic renditions ever given at an NBA All-Star game in 2018. For some reason, Fergie decided to inject a jazzy flavor into the anthem, and let's just say it didn't work out. To make matters worse, the camera frequently cut away to the different celebrities and players in attendance, and their faces said it all. NBA star Steph Curry packed up laughing, while Jimmy Kimmel struggled to contain his amusement. Charles Barkley and Shaq even joked about it after, as there was simply no way anyone could ignore what had just taken place. Even the greats have their off days, and Mariah Carey is no exception.
Mariah Carey's team doing major damage control tonight following a show-stopping, jaw-dropping New Year's Eve debacle.
Performing on Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve in 2016, Carey endured a performance from hell, as everything that could go wrong did. When she claimed to not be able to hear herself in her earpiece, the whole set fell apart, and Carey was left staring at the audience. Worse still, Carey later received criticism from viewers who said she'd been lip-syncing some of her songs. There was serious fallout after the performance, too. Carey's people accused Dick Clark Productions of sabotaging her, while the company refuted those claims. Various other accusations were leveled across the board, with some sources claiming that Carey had chosen to not rehearse. Her team, meanwhile, said she had raised concerns beforehand, but the production told her to go out and perform anyway. Needless to say, this was one New Year's Eve performance that no one will forget anytime soon. In 2012, Lana Del Rey achieved mainstream success with her major label debut album Born to Die. Before long, everyone wanted a piece of the Del Rey magic, which soon led to an appearance on Saturday Night Live. This was an opportunity for Del Rey to reach a wider audience than ever before and make shedloads of new fans. Instead, she bombed hard. Viewers criticized Del Rey on social media with all kinds of creative insults. One user referred to her as an inebriated Julia Roberts, while another compared her to teenagers who sing in their bedrooms. Even SNL found the funny side of it, as the show later parodied her appearance in a sketch.
Based on the public's response, I must have instead clubbed a baby seal while singing the Taliban national anthem.
Since then, Del Rey has been reluctant to perform on live television. In 2023, she told The Hollywood Reporter that she gets offers but tends to turn them down. You know it in your heart when it's the right time, and it's never been the right time. Maybe now, even if I didn't feel confident, I would do it anyway. In 2004, Ashlee Simpson released her debut album, Autobiography. Soon after, Simpson landed a major break, a chance to perform on Saturday Night Live. Her first song, Pieces of Me, went off without a hitch. Then the drummer kicked in for the second track, and Simpson's vocals for Pieces of Me rang out through the speakers. Yes, it turned out she hadn't been singing at all. Things went from bad to worse when, caught off guard, Simpson began to perform a strange little dance number to defuse the situation.
I froze and I was started doing this and I was like, okay, I think I've done the hoedown long enough, maybe I should off.
The SNL performance put a serious damper on Simpson's career, and she never reached the same peak of popularity after. Discussing the incident years later on the Broad Ideas with Rachel Bilson and Olivia Allen podcast, Simpson claimed that she had lost her voice the morning of the performance. She wanted to cancel the show, but said that the label pressured her into performing with pre-recorded tracks.
I had the #1 song. It was like everything was about to go somewhere, and then it was just like, whoa.
In the wake of their hit album Blood Sugar Sex Magic, the Red Hot Chili Peppers began to receive more mainstream recognition, including a coveted spot on Saturday Night Live. And yes, it was a disaster. What actually went wrong, though, depends on who you ask. At first glance, it appeared as though guitarist John Frusciante simply wasn't vibing with the rest of the Chili Peppers, as he looked visibly distant from his bandmates. When Frusciante botched the intro to Under the Bridge, even Anthony Kiedis looked confused about what he was doing. By the end of the song, Kiedis was staring daggers through his guitarist. In his autobiography, Kiedis claimed that he'd heard Frusciante was high on drugs during the performance. Frusciante apparently begs to differ. Kiedis wrote, "To this day, John denies he was playing off key. According to him, he was experimenting the way he would have if we'd been rehearsing the tune." Frusciante left the Red Hot Chili Peppers twice in his career, first in 1992, soon after this performance, and then again in 2008.
Would you welcome Mr. Robert Plant, Mr. Jimmy Page, Mr. John Paul Jones, Mr. Tony Thompson, Mr. Paul Martinet!
Live Aid may have been done for a good cause, but many fans were more excited for the hotly anticipated reunion of Led Zeppelin. After drummer John Bonham's death years earlier, the band enlisted the services of Phil Collins and Tony Thompson for the gig. The show itself, however, wasn't exactly what you'd call a classic Led Zeppelin performance. Robert Plant's voice was in poor condition, Jimmy Page's guitar was out of tune, and the drumming didn't sound like anything the fans remembered. In short, it was a disastrous reunion for the legendary band. In an interview with Classic Rock, Collins explained that he had no time to rehearse with the group. In fact, he didn't even know it was a Led Zeppelin reunion until he got there. Collins was apparently warned that Page was in a bad mood when he arrived, and matters didn't improve from there on out. He even admitted that he thought about walking off the stage, though he ultimately stuck it out until the end. Collins added, "Robert is a diamond, but when those guys get together, a black cloud appears." Milli Vanilli's lip sync scandal destroyed the careers of duo Fab Morvan and Rob Pilatus, and their fall from grace happened in the most public way imaginable. In July 1989, while performing on MTV, a pre-recorded vocal track got stuck and kept skipping. The stunned Morvan and Pilatus were left adrift, apparently totally lost for what to do. This would be the beginning of the end for Milli Vanilli. The group's founder, Frank Farian, subsequently revealed that Morvan and Pilatus were models he had hired to lip-sync music that had been recorded by other musicians. When Morvan and Pilatus demanded to record an album with their real voices, Farian parted ways with them. Soon after, Milli Vanilli had their Grammy Award taken away.
One day to the next, we lost the fame. We were pushed aside suddenly, and you had to live with that.
In 1990, the duo admitted to the Los Angeles Times that, as difficult and embarrassing as it was to be exposed so publicly, it was good that the truth came out in the end. Pilatus said, "We were afraid for 2 years that this day would come. We've cried about it sometimes that the secret might come out, but deep inside, we wanted it to happen." For obvious reasons, the internet paid close attention to the musicians performing at President Donald Trump's inaugural balls in 2025. If they weren't at the top of their game, they were most definitely called out for it. As such, this was very much a day to forget for Billy Ray Cyrus, as his rendition of Old Town Road quickly turned into Old Town Roadkill at the Liberty Ball event. Cyrus experienced significant sound difficulties during his performance, meaning that he couldn't hear his guitar. The backing track then played on as he went off at the sound crew backstage, asking if his guitar was plugged in or if it was a sign for him to get off the stage. While Cyrus tried to save the show by singing an a cappella version of Achy Breaky Heart, that didn't stop people from tearing into his performance online. As one user wrote on X, Billy Ray Cyrus's performance at Trump's inauguration is the perfect metaphor for the next 4 years. Guns N' Roses' Sweet Child of Mine stands out as a classic rock and roll banger, not only because of guitarist Slash's mastery of his six-string, but also due to Axl Rose's raspy delivery of those lovey-dovey lyrics. At the 2011 Super Bowl halftime show, Slash teamed up with the Black Eyed Peas for a brief rendition of the song, and oh, sweet child, did things go wrong. While Fergie is no slouch in the vocal department, she struggled to match Rose's passion here. Instead, she came off like a tone-deaf karaoke singer who was living out their wildest Coyote Ugly dreams. And although the crowd looked like they were having a good time in the stadium, the folks at home weren't about to let this heresy slide. One commenter wrote, "This could have been one of the most epic moments in the history of halftime shows, with Slash coming out of the stage and waylaying guitar on one of the catchiest rock anthems of all time, and then Fergie had to suck." And another simply said, "What has been heard cannot be unheard."